Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
We're here at 40 West Street in a bright green building with Jason Cherry, and who is the owner of Mission Escape Rooms in Annapolis. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me this morning.
It's been a while. We ran into each other at the boat show. I guess I would say last year, but last year doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
It's been a while, but we wanted to jump into Mission Escape Rooms and just learn about what this is and about you and everything else. And you've got just an incredible backstory. You're a local guy, right? I mean, you were born here?
Born and raised, yeah. Born and raised in Davidsonville, but have always had an Annapolis presence. Graduated from Annapolis Area Christian School in 2014. Went to their middle school campus off of Bestgate as well. And downtown Annapolis was always the place to come and hang out.
14, we're in 21-7, so we're going, you're like 29?
25.
25. Okay. See, my math is not my thing. So you're 25. Okay. And, you've got the career, from what I understand, of a 70-year-old at this point. You race cars professionally.
Professionally in 2014 and 15 for Mazda and Nissan.
And what kind of cars were they?
So they were sports cars. I drove open wheel cars in USF 2000, and then also drove in Pirelli World Challenge. It was a touring car category.
Okay. You have established a foundation.
Siblings of Autism, correct? Yeah.
And Siblings of Autism, you have an autistic brother or sister?
I do. My older brother, Matthew, who is now soon to be 30, is on the spectrum. Old guy, yeah. He was adopted at age 3. We have a 5-year difference between us. So I was born into a family where there has always been autism.
And what does Siblings of Autism do?
So when I was racing in Pirelli World Challenge, I was also working with the Autism Society of America, hosting different children on the spectrum at the racetrack. And was just, working with their national boards, speaking at different conferences. And while working with the ASA, I came to realize that they do really great work for those on the spectrum, but that those that are not on the spectrum, the non-ASD siblings, are very quickly being overlooked. And so I started working with them to establish an outreach program and then a scholarship program. The whole goal was to drive funds to the non-ASD siblings to be able to go to college. What can happen very quickly is that when families do not receive the federal and state funding, all the funding goes to that child on the spectrum, and the non-ASD are being overlooked, and it's directly impacting their ability to go to school. So I established Siblings of Autism in 2016, I believe, off the top of my head. 2016, and every year I personally fund $20,000 in scholarships.
That's awesome. We'll make sure we put the link to that in the show notes on this. And it's very similar to, I know Wellness House, which deals with cancer over off of Forest Drive and Spa Road. They believe that we can deal with cancer and with the patient and the person that's suffering from it, but there's so many other far-reaching things. The family, how does the sibling of somebody that has cancer, the parents, the child, whatever it may be, and that they do a lot of support on that. So that's probably very similar with Siblings of Autism.
Absolutely. Like and so this is a national campaign. What we've been doing is compiling a bunch of information with the ultimate goal of being able to release a book. So our first year was the Blessings of Autism, or the Gifts of Autism, rather. And so we collected a bunch of information, really speaking towards, the gifts, right? All the great things, the person that I am today because of my brother, Matthew. The second campaign we ran was the Realities of Autism. We wanted siblings to talk about the difficult times and what it actually looks like in the household, which I could certainly speak towards that as well, because there was plenty of it. Matthew was the Tasmanian devil at one point and is wonderful today, but it was very challenging going through adolescence. And then the third year we ran a #AutismIs. That was meant to be one powerful sentence as to what autism is to that individual. And then our last year that we ran was asking siblings to design the front cover of a book. And so the goal is to take the gifts, the realities, this strong, powerful sentence to be the header of each chapter, and then to have this front cover to be able to ultimately compile this and release this information.
Wow. Man. And, to top it off, also, I understand that you yourself suffered from cancer at one point.
Yep, Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I opened Mission Escape Rooms in Annapolis in May of 2016. About a month and a half later, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I underwent 5 rounds of chemotherapy, followed by several weeks of radiation at Hopkins. I've been in remission now for about 4.5 years.
Well done. Yeah. Well done.
Hoping to stay in it.
Kicked its ass.
Yes.
But, okay, so 5 years, Mission Escape Rooms right here at 40 West Street in Annapolis. Mm-hmm. Why? How do you make the jump from racing foundation starting and, well, you weren't beating cancer at that point, but you were in the middle of this, but how do you make the jump into Mission Escape Rooms? How did this all start?
I think what I had learned in racing is that the driving component was about 10% of the job. The remaining 90% was securing marketing funds, doing a lot of PR outreach, and I loved working for myself. I love the hustle. I love going out into the world. When I was getting out of racing, I started working for Merkle Marketing, which was at the time the largest privately held marketing firm. Thought that I wanted to pursue corporate America and very quickly realized that I wanted to kind of do things bigger and faster, and kind of, I guess I kind of tied in with the racing. Everything was always go fast. Wanted to work for myself. And so we as a family had gone to Escape Room Live down in DC. That was their very first location. It was in the basement of a Starbucks. Got absolutely nowhere in the room, but had a ball. And so we walked away, and my dad's kind of claim to glory is, why isn't there one of these in Annapolis? And so that was the light bulb moment. It was something that I felt like I could pursue and open. Operating with and running a business in racing allowed me to leverage that entity to pull out a loan. Opened the first location in 2016, and then the following 2 came shortly thereafter.
Well, for those that aren't aware, escape rooms are
it's an interactive form of entertainment, right? And so it's a real life escape experience designed for groups of 2 to 10 people. The best way to describe it is kind of like a real life game of Clue. And so you're coming into a room, we're giving you a story, we're giving you a starting point, and then you're interacting with all these elements within the room to ultimately either solve some sort of murder mystery or escape. And so it really kind of comes down to what the theme is. And we have 11 different themes between the 3 locations.
3 locations. Wow. Okay. So Mission Escape Rooms here in Annapolis is on 5 years now.
Yep.
I know you've got one up in Gambrills.
Yep. That is at the Wall Chapel Town Center.
Okay. And how many rooms do you have here in Annapolis?
So we have 4 themes here in Annapolis, 2 at our Wall Chapel location, and then 5 multi-room experiences at our Arundel Mills location.
In a multi-room, you're going from room to room to ultimately get out of the...
Correct. So we have one theme in particular I'll reference, which is medieval crimes. That one, we start groups into 2 different jail cells, and you escape through multiple rooms, and there might be some trapdoors in between.
Well, I mean, you said you got nowhere the first time you did this. Mm-hmm. Do most people get anywhere on these?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this is an experience that we want our customers to enjoy, and there's no fun in not solving much of the room. So, we do have our game hosts, game masters monitoring the rooms, and we'll come in and chime in, where we feel needed, and are always ready to answer a question over the intercom.
Real quick question. I mean, when I remember when you first opened up, I was like, oh, that sounds so cool. Mm-hmm. And I said, but once I do it, what's the allure to come back?
Sure.
And you answered that for me at one point, because I've been here several times, but I mean, you do change up the rooms all the time.
Yeah. So we strive to change a theme every, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks. So with 11 rooms, we want to have all 11 kind of circulate and cycle about on the year. My goal is to be able to offer an experience kind of at the same rate that you can experience a new movie at the theaters. The 3 locations being within 25, 30 minutes of each other, we're kind of capturing all of this local market. And hey, I've done all 4 in Annapolis, but I have yet to do the 5 in Arundel Mills. So we're going to go do the 5 in Arundel Mills, and hopefully by the time we've done those, we have another one in Annapolis or another one in Crofton.
Are you finding that you're getting a lot of overflow from Annapolis into Crofton
there is a lot of cross-pollination happening between the locations. Interestingly enough, we've always struggled to get those coming to our Crofton location to come to Annapolis. Crofton, and being, my first home that I purchased was in Crofton.
Right.
What I came to realize about that market is that those that live in Crofton like to stay in Crofton.
There are some places in this county that are very weird like that. The South River Bridge, it might as well be the Berlin Wall. There was a health club that was down there, said, how can we get people to come from Annapolis to us? Mm-hmm. And I actually timed it from my house down near Bay Ridge. I could get to Edgewater and Mayo Road into the health club, on a machine in less time than I could get in the front door at 24 Fitness that was open at the town center.
Yep, I believe it.
By the time you get up the driveway, you park and you walk on and everything else. But people, they go down Route 2 and it's like, whoa, the bridge, we must turn around. We can't go there. It's like a different world. It's very, very bizarre. Yeah. It's very strange. What are the future? I mean, you've got 3 locations here in Anne Arundel County. Are you looking to expand Mission escape rooms elsewhere?
So we are currently holding on to the 3 locations with the escape rooms. We are going to be rolling out another entertainment concept in Annapolis that is to be announced. We'll have some information on that pretty shortly.
Oh, that's called a teaser, right?
That is called a teaser, and that's where we're going to leave that one.
Where's it going to be in Annapolis?
It will be located at the Annapolis Westfield Mall.
Okay.
Yep. Entertainment. It'll be great for all ages, all friends, and it's a timeless activity.
When are we going to know about this or see this?
I will make sure that you know something, and probably by the time this podcast is launched, we will have signed a lease. So
it's fairly imminent.
It is right around the corner, and we were hoping to be open by either end of Q4 or Q1 next year.
Fantastic. I'm excited. I'm interested to hear what it is. You're also involved in DC. I mean, you're actually now living in DC, right?
Yep.
And what do you have going?
So we have a development agreement. I have a development agreement to open 4 Kilwins stores, which I know the Annapolis folks love Kilwins. Right. That is the ice cream confections franchise. I just opened my first one immediately outside the National Stadium main gates. A second one is in lease negotiations for phase 2 of the Wharf, and then we will be tackling Georgetown and Chinatown. So we have a goal to open 4 of those, and that'll happen over the next 4 to 6 years. And then immediately adjacent to my Kilwin store in Nats Park, I have a self-pour tap house called Tap 99, and it is a modern twist of 99 bottles of beer on the wall, but instead is 99 self-pour taps of beer, wine, cider, pre-mixed cocktails, seltzer, you name it, we got it.
How is that now? How has that been going? How long has that been open?
That has been open for about 4 weeks. We're going into our 5th week of business. It has been doing extremely well. We are DC's first fully self-pour tap house. You come in.
Think of the money you save on bartenders.
That is the key. And the headache, too. Yeah. That's the big thing.
It's funny when you were talking about things move faster and everything else and moving rates. I'm sitting there going, I bet there's not a lot of committee meetings in this business. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay. And because I know when I sold, I had several travel agencies. People are saying, well, what do you miss the most? I mean, there's plenty of things I miss out of the travel business, but I said, I don't miss employees, and it sounds really horrible to say, but when everything gets bogged down and it's a lot of pressure to be able to, you're responsible for somebody else's livelihood.
Yep. I certainly carry that. And that's what has me up at night and waking up early in the mornings.
Well, I imagine also COVID probably put a whammy on you because, I mean, your rooms are not, this is not a 70,000 square foot mansion that we are in with, gigantic rooms.
It was really unfortunate, the impact COVID had, particularly on the escape rooms. We did not receive much federal funding and support, state level and federal. Unfortunately, we pay into the admission and amusement tax, which bundles us into groups of like amusement parks, movie theaters, live performance venues, stuff like that. And there was an entertainment grant that came out through the state level that was $30 million. And then I believe ultimately was doubled. Same entertainment grant that also came on a federal level. And we were ultimately denied it because we do not have a stage. We are a ticketed event, but we do not have a stage or live performances. So we kind of fell in between the cracks with a lot of it. We did receive our 2 rounds of PPP. But, beyond that, there was not much funding available for us. And
That's
so it hurt us. But we made it through, and things are looking bright now.
That's great. All right, we got totally off the track with your Tap 99 though. So this is 4 weeks,
yes,
and well received. And how does that concept work? I mean, I just walk in there, show my ID, make sure I'm 21.
Yeah. So you walk in, you hand us a credit card and ID. We swipe your credit card, scan your ID, and that syncs up to an RFID card, which is similar to like a hotel key card. And so once you have that RFID card, you can go up to the taps. There's 33 screens, 3 taps per screen. Tap into any of the descriptions or imagery to read a deeper description on the cocktail contents or whatever it may be. And then you insert your RFID card into the reader below, and that activates the tap. It's a trigger tap, so as soon as you pull it, it starts pouring.
Okay.
There is a turbine in the line that has been calibrated to measure out what is dispensing, and you're paying by the ounce. And so what's really, kind of tying back to escape rooms, I've always been about experiential activities, right? What's great about the self-pour concept is you don't have to commit to a full pour. And so you can sample as little or as much as you want until you find what you like. And then at that point, you want to fill up a glass, go ahead.
So I can turn around and sample 1 ounce of 99 beers.
Correct.
And then I'd probably roll out the front door. But
and what we have in place to prevent that is what's also really cool about this software is we can set beverage limits on the cards. And so technically ABRA requires a bartender check-in every 32 ounces. And so there's a 32 ounce limit on the card. And so when you hit that 32 ounces, it prompts on the screen. Even if you're in the middle of the pour, it will shut off on you. And it'll say, please check in with a friendly staff member to reactivate your card. And we can do that from that screen right there. We can do it at the front check-in stand. It takes about 10 seconds for us to do. It's our way of assessing the customer and making sure that we're not over-serving.
Okay, here's your $1 million idea for you. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about checking in with the staff. Put them up. Put like a touchscreen escape room on there after 32 ounces and say, here, solve this.
Yeah, there you go.
Solve this. You can have your next beer. So that's exciting. I mean, so chocolate is so different from escape rooms, which is so different from alcohol, which perhaps is or is not so different from whatever may be coming at the Westfield Annapolis Mall. Is it all about diversification? And
it is. I think for me, when I try to identify a concept, like particularly in this tap house scenario, I kind of look for ease of operations. I didn't want to find myself running a full service restaurant, which I still somehow ended up doing, because we do have an entire kitchen program, kitchen managers and operations managers that are overseeing the menu development. We just rolled out our brunch menu. And really it's just a matter of finding something that I have fun with. I like the challenge. I like, once I get something and I got it and I find myself getting bored and I want to try something new.
Okay, so when you get bored, do you get rid of them, or do you just hold on to them? Or
hold on to them and leverage them to open something new.
It's funny because when I had my travel agencies, I was like, the industry was typically we'll say the wealthy doctor or lawyer's wife's business, and then just some cheap travel and stuff like that. And I came in at a weird time when they were cutting commissions and everything else. It was a challenging time. I said, look, I'm in this. I got 3 kids to support. I said, I'm here to make money. And I said, I'm out of here when I either don't believe in it, I'm not making money, or I get, I'm bored with it. Mm-hmm. And I held true to my word. I ended up selling it when it got to the point where I was just not having fun anymore, because I think that's critical to have fun. I mean, it seems like you are. Yeah. I mean, you're like living the life.
And I'm not getting bored with Kilwins and the tap house or anything at that point. But I will tell you that, operating both of those concepts has proven to be so exciting day to day. I mean, introducing the endless products that we have to choose from the Kilwins side. We're making everything in-house, no different than the Kilwins in Annapolis. We have a copper kettle that we're cooking everything in. So, we just rolled out a pumpkin walnut fudge. We've tried a lemon fudge. It's fun being able to taste those things, particularly. And on the tap house side of things.
So how's the beer and the chocolate working out on the diet?
I think we've all put on a little bit of COVID weight, haven't we? We try to avoid, my girlfriend and I try to avoid the tap house and Kilwins at all costs. We always kind of, at the end of the night, we're like, man, I wish we grabbed some of those chocolates, but we kind of praise ourselves for holding off. I think I've, since being operational, Kilwins opened up June 28th. I think I've probably had 2 to 3 scoops of ice cream from their total.
There you go.
So we're doing a decent job, but it's.
I'm checking in a year.
Yeah, there you go.
But, I'm kind of curious because, Mission Escape Rooms is not a franchise. This is you.
Correct.
Tap 99 is you.
Correct. And we do have the trademark on that, and there are the intentions to continue to grow that brand.
Well, then you are the franchise as opposed to a franchisee. Presuming whatever goes into the mall, is that you?
Correct.
Why do we go with the franchise with Kilwins? Does that drive you crazy? Because they've got some control over it to a point, as being a little bit of a control freak that you seem to be?
It does. There are certainly those moments where I'm like, man, I wish I could have done it this way. But what Kilwins does do is they deliver exceptional product. And there is no way that you can dispute, the quality of the product and what they've learned over, 70 years of operations.
Is that long?
1947, I believe, was when they were established, yeah.
Wow.
Based out of Petoskey, Michigan. We went up there and spent 2 weeks for corporate training. And I really came to love the downtown Annapolis location. It was where I always wanted to go for ice cream. Do love all the other local Annapolis brands, but I came to love the ownership of the downtown location. And I believe that all the SKUs of products that they have in there is just a really solid business model. And so I decided to buy into a kind of turnkey model. Although day to day, we're still making all of our products in-house, and felt like DC really needed it in its market.
Interesting. Well, I know that, a big misnomer in town is like franchises. Oh, that's Kilwins. That's a franchise. I'd rather go to, Billy Bob's Fudge Shop or whatever it may be. And it's so wrong because, again, just as you're showing, this is local ownership.
Yep.
That's working at, it's hiring local people and everything else. And most people don't realize that, the Kilwins, to have that name and the brand, that's just a marketing expense for you, right?
That's exactly what it is. We are
no different than taking an ad out in the local paper.
I can see where people would look at it and assume that it might be a corporately owned store, but a majority of these stores are owned by people like you and I. Mm-hmm. And we depend on it for our livelihood, and it is our full-time job.
Best Buys and the Nordstroms and the Macy's, yes, those are corporately owned things. But, when you look at a franchise and you just don't understand, most people don't understand that this is somebody local here. Yes, some money goes there, but it goes, that's your marketing expense there. That's your market.
That's how they continue to roll out the new ice cream flavors.
True. What's on the future for Jason Cherry and either Mission Escape Rooms, some unknown concept at the Annapolis Mall, or you've got 3 more Kilwins we know in DC.
I got 3 more Kilwins. We're already looking to expand the Tap 99 concept. There's a couple other kind of cocktail-based concepts that I'm looking to bring to DC. We have the entertainment coming to Annapolis. There will be every bit of 3 to 4 new businesses opening up next year. I'm still very much involved in the Annapolis community. I work with Hospice of the Chesapeake, serve on their foundation board as well as one of their committees.
And you also strut your stuff at the...
Fashion for a Cause. Yeah, Fashion for a Cause. Yeah. They're looking to bring that event back next year, which we're all hoping for. It's been
fingers are crossed that events are starting to open up and people are doing things. When I was at a show at the Ram's Head last night, and it was so nice to see a semi-full room. Mm-hmm. It was a school night, so it was not to be expected to be sold out, but it's nice that people are starting to get it, to understand the disease is waning, and it appears so. Hopefully we're in a good place to move forward, and certainly we've learned some lessons and learned how to operate a little bit more efficiently, and
it has served as a blessing in disguise. It was challenging for a lot of individuals, but I think that from a business ownership standpoint, that we all sharpened up as a result of this,
without a doubt. If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
From a business perspective, or just with my life? Because I'll tell you, I wish I love boating, and that's where it comes back to the Annapolis roots. So anytime that I can sneak out of the office and go out on a boat, that's a win for me.
You have a boat?
I do.
Power or sail?
Power.
Okay. So you're one of those?
I am one of those.
I'm with you. I can't stand the thought of being like subject to the wind and just sort of.
Man, yeah. Our cruising speed just to get out before we get on plane is passing the sailboats a lot of the times. I certainly do appreciate and admire when I do see a boat up on keel and booking along pretty good. But
it was funny. This comedian we saw at Ram's Head last night was talking about that. He had grown up in Chestertown and saying that it was. Uncle would take him out sailing, and he said, "Oh, this is great. I'm going to just a relaxing day." And he's like, "Okay, get that line, pull this in, duck for the boom, duck for the jib." Uh-huh. This is not relaxing at all.
No.
It's like, no, just put it in and go for there. So you're not going to. So you'd be boating.
Boating's where I like to spend my time. That's about the only time I find kind of respite. Being on the water is what relaxes me. So
well, it is very therapeutic in any number of ways. What would you be doing business wise?
I am really enjoying what we're doing right now. I honestly couldn't give you an answer that I would do anything different. I'm coming to learn and love the hospitality industry. I know it's certainly very challenging, but it's again no different than the escape rooms. It's very rewarding when you watch your customer interact with the self-pour wall, or you hand them that scoop of ice cream, or see them escape from a room.
Well, you said hospitality industry. Most people will sit there and think of bars and restaurants and maybe performance venues. But you've really sort of operating on, I don't want to call it the fringe of it, but I mean, it's just a different aspect that's not very large that you don't necessarily think about. And as you've mentioned several times, the word experience comes in here. And when you come into a mission escape room, when you come into one of the smaller rooms, I mean, you're flipping switches, you're sliding drawers, you're moving plates, you're looking, under, hanging things on the walls for clues to get out.
Yeah.
When we're going into Tap 99, which I do need to get down there and check that out. That sounds amazing. I think, the Nationals still got a couple games. I think I might.
They do.
We
got one playing tonight.
But, you're in there and you're somewhat self-serving, which is a unique experience. I know that there was a wine bar that had a self-serve thing here in Annapolis at one point. I think Purple Tooth, or it was up by the Lowe's, was now the Graduate Hotel. And, again, Kilwins is sort of a little bit of an outlier for you. I mean, it's not really an experience. It's a retail shopping thing, but this is impressive. I mean, I can't believe that you've done this much inside of, a quarter century. Yeah. Where do you see yourselves in another half century? Where do you see yourselves when you retired? What's this whole empire going to look like? And provided that there is a retirement,
there will never be a retirement. I take it kind of year by year. I like to kind of learn what's new and trending. Self-pour concept is certainly something new and trending. The Kilwins is something that's giving me an opportunity to kind of leverage funding to be able to open this new stuff. I don't know where I'm going to land up. I know that I get bored when I'm not busy, and me being busy has done pretty well. And so,
can't argue with that.
Yep.
Jason Cherry, thank you very much. People, you want to go to missionescaperooms.com. There's an S on the end of that, and that will get you information on all three of the locations here.
Correct.
You want to make sure you check back in with us, because we're going to hound you about this Annapolis Mall thing going on when this comes out. So you need to figure out what's going on. That's got me very intrigued. If you're in D.C., you want to hit Tap 99 out by the National Stadium. Does that have a name besides National Stadium?
Nats Park, Navy Yard.
Nats Park, okay.
Yeah. The Navy Yard's the community, no different than Shaw's the community.
But there's no sponsorship to it. It's not like M&T.
It's the National Stadium.
Okay. And, grab some of the Kilwins. You're going to see some of them in D.C. Are there a number of franchises in D.C. for Kilwins?
So I own the rights to all the D.C. market. And so we are going to be developing 4 stores, potentially 5 stores throughout D.C. There are no other Kilwins in D.C. The closest is either Annapolis or Old Town Alexandria.
Huh.
Yep.
Well done.
There you go.
Well played. Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.